What's up, everybody? Welcome to the My RC Life YouTube channel, where we do all things RC and a little bit of everything in between. Let's go!
What's up, everybody? Traxxas Mike from My RC Life. And today I'm going to get started on the Sonic Wake. Now, technically, there's nothing wrong with this boat. It is the version 1 of the Sonic Wake. I do have an upgraded prop on this boat and an upgraded dual pickup rudder for dual cooling. I have one cooling tube going to my motor and a separate cooling tube going to my ESC. The version 2 of this boat, basically, they did the same thing as what I did to this version 1, and they may have changed a couple other little things, but I know this was the main thing that they did to the second version of the Sonic Wake. Now we get inside here, and you can see we got the 1900 kV 4-pole Dynamite brushless motor. And then we have a Dynamite Marine ESC. Now I looked all over and I cannot find anywhere where it says what size this ESC is. It's good on up to 6S, I do know that. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be upgrading. I'm going to be stepping up to the ZTW Seal 200 amp boat ESC. Water cooled, obviously. It's good for 2 to 8S LiPo. Look at that. And look at the difference in ESC size. You got the little blue guy there, and then you got the Seal. So yeah, you know, there's a huge difference here. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get that tore out and see what it is and see what we got to do to get this fitted in there. Unplug our motor wires there. Looks like we got 2 Allen wrenches, 2mm. Then we're going to unhook our water lines. Just the 2 here. Ooh, that one is on there good, let me tell you. There we go. Then our on and off switch. There we go, got that. Then here is our wire that plugs into the receiver. 2 little zip ties to cut here. Get them out of there. Alright. There, we got the whole ESC right out of there. Oh, it's 120 amps, so we're going to be almost doubling the amperage with our new ESC here, people. Just trying to get a general feel of how this is going to go in here. I'm thinking probably like this. Yeah, that looks pretty cool to me, just like that. And we'll run our wires, solder some new bullet connectors on here, run them right over here, connect back into our cooling lines, and that'll be set. Yeah, that looks beautiful. So next we're gonna have to solder our bullet connectors and our battery ends on here. We're just going to heat these ends up off the old ESC and apply them to the new ESC. And then I'm just going to start off with new male ends. I'm not going to use these same old ones. Alright, we got some new battery ends for it. And we're going to be reusing the bullet plugs for the motor. So what we're going to do with these is just slice the heat shrink so we can get it peeled back just like that. Now that we got those off, all we're going to do is just heat it up with this torch until they fall off. Okay, then we need to open up our heat shrink stuff here and find some that goes over the end of these wires. That looks pretty good. Now these already got a little bit of solder left on them, and these ends come pre-soldered or pre-tinned, whatever you want to call it. We don't have to do that, but usually I would pre-tin them a little bit. But yeah, since they already got some on them, we should be able to just heat it up and put them on there. But one thing we want to remember, put our heat shrink on before we add our wires. Now, of course, say we did do that, solder it on. Now these are bigger, but if you're trying to put this on in a hurry and these are still hot, when you slide it down, it's going to start shrinking right away. So it's just easier if you got it on there first, slide it up, and then it'll shrink. I am going to put just a drop of flux on there to make these soldered ends come together better. Flux is like your key to good soldering. It just makes the solder come together, I guess you could call it. Sometimes I like to clamp them in a vise or just sit it on something metal like this so you don't burn. Like if you're pushing on this and it's on your wood, it's going to burn your table. Okay, our heat shrink is on. Everything's fluxed up. So now it's time to hit her with the soldering iron. Now we may need to add a little bit of solder. I'm going to try to lay it on this piece of wood here so there's not as much heat transfer. Okay, one of them's on there. Alright, number 2's on there. Alright, now it's time to get our battery ends on here. Now we don't gotta put our heat shrink on yet because we still have an open end. We're gonna go ahead and add this in right here. Okay. Okay, this for sure is the negative side. Alright, that looks like it's in pretty good. Alright, this is our last solder joint right here. Alright, we got those all wired up. And these all wired up. I just gotta do the heat shrink on these yet, I guess. Alright, so that's all done. Next step is to install the ESC. That little plate thing you're actually looking at is an RPM skid plate for an HPI Savage Flux that I cut and made to fit so I could mount the ESC on top of that. A bunch of glue in there. Let that cool down a bit. Okay, so you can see some of this is dried. Now I'm gonna continue to dump some more in here. I got it up on the chair like that so the glue will kind of run back and it won't keep running forward. Okay, let's keep dumping the glue here. Alright, now I laid the thing flat again. I'm gonna let some of the glue set flat this time. Okay, so that's nice and full of glue, and it's just got to set up now, and then we can mount the ESC. Okay, now that that plate is all secure in there, I'm going to go ahead and hook up our cooling lines. Okay, I'm simply going to put a bunch of glue right on top here, and then I'm going to lay the ESC right on top of this glue. Okay. Just gonna hold that ESC on that plate for a minute till that glue starts to harden up. I guess as I'm holding it, I can go ahead and plug in my motor wires. Alright. Oh, the short one's my program wire, and the long one is where it plugs into the receiver. So we're going to go ahead and plug her into the receiver. Alright. So now we got to calibrate this ESC. So what you do, you turn on your transmitter, you hold it all the way forward, and then you're going to plug in your ESC. Once you plug it in, you're going to listen for it to beep twice. When it beeps twice, let go to the neutral range. Then it's going to beep like that. Then it'll beep like that. Then you should be ready to go. And I got this thing cranked up. I mean, way too high. So, I'm going to go ahead, unplug this again. I'm going to turn down my timing and stuff. So I'm going to plug in the program card. Plug in the ESC again. Okay. So brake type we have off. Battery type is on LiPo. Voltage protection. Okay, motor timing. So I'm going to turn this way down. I'm going to put it on auto. See what auto does, I think. What's the next one? 2 degrees? Let's see what auto does. Okay on that. Control mode, fixed points. Auto run. I wonder what auto run is. I don't know. We'll see what fixed points does. Governor mode, RPM off. First soft, second soft, first governor, second governor. Okay, I'm going to leave that one off. Motor rotation forward. Start strength 50%. We're going to turn this down. We're going to put it at 20%. Okay. I'm going to unplug it. Unplug that too. Replug in the ESC into the receiver. Plug the battery back in. Okay, let's see what it does now. See, it's taking off much softer now. Okay, I think I like that. Okay, now one thing I do need to do is I need to grease my shaft. I have not greased that this year. This will be the first time the boat's going out, so we need to grease that shaft before it goes out for its first ride. Alright, let's find the proper wrench, at least for one side. 10 millimeter. Last time, and I made a video and I used some vice grips, and people typed in the comments, you know, use the right wrenches and blah blah blah. Well, guess what? I don't have two 10 millimeter wrenches up here right now, so I'm still gonna use this pair of vice grips. But only on one side of the collet. How about that? Okay, and we're gonna loosen up the other side of this collet. Alright, so once you get that loosened up, you should be able to slide this whole shaft right out, just like that. Another thing too, I made the mistake, I greased this whole thing up. You don't want to grease the end of this up. You want to grease this all the way up to there. So when you slide it back in, you're not getting grease into that collet from the end of this. So yeah, don't grease the whole thing up. Now that that's all done, we're just gonna slide this flex shaft right back in where it came from, and that end's gonna slide up in that collet. Then we can go ahead and tighten the collet back up again. Another thing too is you don't want to slide this shaft all the way in tight to where it butts up completely tight to this shaft deal here. You want to leave a little tiny bit of space there, so when you tighten the collet up, it don't suck this tight and it ain't riding so tight in there that it's really full of friction or anything. It looks like I got the perfect gap in there. You should be able to slide something between that end of that bushing and the beginning of this outboard here. You know, just at least a little something. So that's in there. Now I'm going to plug it in and see if it sounds any quieter now that we greased it up. Oh yeah, it's a lot quieter now. Man, this thing's gonna haul ass, guys. I can't wait to get this thing out on the water tomorrow, because obviously it's night right now. But for you guys, it's gonna happen real quick, just like this. All right, everybody, we're out here the next day, out on Big Lake Miramichi. There's just a little tiny bit of wind. Okay, I do got my GPS performance analyzer in there, so we are going to be testing the speed. All right. go. Steering trim a little to the left.
Now, unfortunately, I did not get a reading from my GPS meter this time, but I've ran this boat for the last couple of years with upgrades and only on 6S, and I know what 75 miles an hour looks like, and this was well above 75 miles an hour. That's all I can say, so we'll have to wait till next time when we get a good GPS speed reading and try it out then.
Oh. Something happened. Well, that ain't no good. Ah, shoot. Well, hopefully it'll just blow into us. I'm thinking maybe a motor wire came unsoldered. Well, while we're waiting for that boat to blow into shore, I'm going to go ahead and fly the little pits. Those little barn swallows, all those little swallows are going crazy over my little plane. About the same size. Alright, the boat's getting pretty close to shore, so I'm going to bring this little bugger in for a landing. Oh, that was one of the best landings I ever had with this thing. It didn't even nose over. Well, it's almost to where I can grab it. Might just get in there. Alright, glad I wore shorts down here. Alright, come on, pro boat. Time to go figure out what the heck went wrong with you. a little bit mucky. And my sandals are sinking in quite extravagantly. All right, let's get the top off and see what the heck happened here. I'm disappointed I didn't get a reading off my GPS. I think it's because it sat out there so long, coasting in to the shore, that it erased its reading or something. I don't know. It sat out there for a good 20 minutes. Yep, exactly what happened. Motor wire came unsoldered. That's exactly what I thought. So technically, I should be able to shut this wire on here and everything should still work. Which it does, so that's good. Okay, so I guess what I need to do is solder those on a little bit better next time. I thought I did a good job, but those seem on there good, but just this one does not seem very well. And this heat shrink must got really hot because I had both of these all the way covered. And you can see how much the heat shrink has shrunk back. So it got very warm. Well, at least we know the motor and ESC is still good for another day. I'm not going to come back here today. It's a little cold out. It's like in the 50s today. Later, last week in this weekend that just went past, it was like 85, getting close to 90. I should have had it done then. But we work at the pace that we can work at, you know what? So, whatever. But, alright guys, until next time, I'm Traxxas Mike from My RC Life, and I'll see you later. Bye guys.
Thanks for watching another episode of My RC Life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.